or development. So with that in mind, let's set the scene. So the first question is going to go to, let's see who we're going to have. We're going to have OLUFEMI ADEGBULUGBE. You'll take the first question, yeah? So with since independence in 1960, of the two amalgamated regions that were joined to create Nigeria in 1914, the South has led the nation for 17 years and 9 months, while the North has led Nigeria for 43 years and 3 months. In the interest of justice, fairness, and equity, is there any justified rationale for the retention of power in the North in 2023? Mr. Adegbulugbe, I'm with you.
Okay, Femi, I want to start by saying that thank you so very much for this invitation, and thank you for your unparalleled patriotism, bringing up topics to discuss what can make Nigeria a better place for all of us. Yeah, so to your question, yes, okay. So out of 60 years, the North has ruled for 43 years, and the South 17 years. So the statistics you have presented, it cuts across military and democratic government. So in my opinion, this is not a fair comparison, right? This is not comparing apples to apples. Under the military regime, that is a non-democratic dispensation, right? We don't have control. The military does not have the procedure of, say, we rotate power between the North and the South. So when it comes to selecting a military ruler, right, they do not have, in the military is military. It's by hierarchy, it's by your rank, it's not by your geographic location.
Yeah, but we know that didn't really happen.
But let me just break it down for you, right? Let's look at the last 22 years, the last 20 years that we have had, right? In the last 20 years, from 1999 to date, 21 years, we have had the South, right, produce the president for 14 years, right? And the North will be producing the presidency for 10 years. So let's look at it from let's break it into two, right? The military regime, let's separate that from the democratic government. Under democratic dispensation, the reverse is the case, right? We've had 14 years of southern rule and 10 years of northern rule.
In 2023.
Yes. So does that answer the question? Yes.
So in your eyes, you say there's nothing wrong in it staying in the North. Is that what you're saying? You're playing devil's advocate, are you?
No, so this is what I'm saying. Let me just for clarity. What I'm saying is that under the democratic government, we have a process of rotating power between the North and the South. That has worked very well for us, and we hope that will continue. But under the military government, we don't have control over this. So we are not comparing apples with apples.
Okay, that's your position. That's fine. Okay, yes. Let me get the next question to YUSUF, Mr. YUSUF. The question is, some in the North say since the Fourth Republic, is exactly what he's saying, that they've only led for 10 years by 2023 and in 14 years for the South. Is that really tenable when, as I said before, 43 years has been ruled out of our 61 years by the North? What do you say? What say you? Mr. YUSUF, are you there? Okay, we seem to be having problems with Mr. YUSUF. He maybe has to get his mic on. Mr. MAZI, EZEOKE, can you answer that question?
Okay, so come again.
So basically, I was saying in the onset that out of our 61 years of independence, the South has only ruled 17 years and 9 months, whilst the North has ruled 43 years and 3 months. So is it justified to retain power in the North in 2023?
See, the thing here is very simple. Since the advent of democracy, we have had South, started with Obasanjo. He moved down to Yaradua. Sadly, Yaradua died, not by his own making, neither is it by the Northern making. afterwards, we moved to Jonathan. And after Jonathan, now we're back to the north. If you go back to the PDP rotation, basically agreement,
zoning
agreement,
zoning. Yeah.
It appears they agree that power should move between south and north, rotate between south and north. Now, and when you talk about when you talk about the number of years, I haven't seen anyone being cheated, being cheated out here. What is happening, or what appears to be, is that there is this unspoken agreement, considering the Nigerian complexity, where you have multi-regional and multi-ethnic nationality, where if you take cognizance of the fact that this is a state or a nation state that has multi-ethnic identities, then it becomes apparent that for you to do away with tensions, power should rotate between the north and the south. Like many of us did argue, when Jonathan wanted to go for a second term, many of us said, well, for a case of fairness and equity, you should allow the north to go. But, which appeared inadvertently better when Buhari came in. Now, I think it will be a smack in the face of Nigerians, and I must say this with emphasis, especially for southern Nigeria, if we come up with an argument that by 2023, that the north would continue. I mean, if they, if we want, we can try it, but it might have consequences as regards the unity of Nigeria. That's my view.
That's your view. Fantastic for that. Let me bring in Mr. Ayola. Are you there? Mr. Ayola?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Good. Yeah. I want to ask you this question. It says that the case is that the case is to retain power in the north. Is it simple? Is a case of politics of numbers and meritocracy as against rotation and mediocrity? So basically, what they're saying, they've got the numbers, we have merit, so that's the case for power retaining in the north, as opposed to rotation and mediocrity. What do you say?
Well, I will start by saying that as OTUNBA ADEGBULUGBE referred to, of course, we have the military era, which basically truncated democracy. And for the past 20 years, we've moved on to democracy. And as MAZI rightly noted, we've had that started with General Olusegun Obasanjo, moving on to Yar'Adua.
Just in the Fourth Republic, we also had democracy with Shagari. And also we had democracy with Tafawa Balewa. Tafawa
Balewa, sure. But of course, Aguiyi Ironsi came in at some point and so on. And we did have
did 6 months.
EZEOKE as well. So indeed. So without a shadow of a doubt, in the context of Nigerian geopolitical nature, yes, we've had more rulers and leaders and presidents, whatever name you want to give to them, coming from the north than from the south. But moving on from that, because of course you get stuck in the ruts of history and keep looking back without looking forward. And then of course you're going to come a cropper. So my take on this is that under the current Fourth Republic, we've had President Obasanjo, who ruled for eight years, moving on to Yar'Adua, who sadly passed away. Now, where the PDP zoning agreement faltered was in the force majeure, just to use the prevailing term, in their constitutional provision, which actually allows for zoning. But that did not account for the death of the current president. And that's where the issue of actually passing power on to Jonathan Goodluck actually surfaced. And we saw that hesitancy in passing power as constitutionally provided for. Nevertheless, we then have Jonathan's tenure, and then we moved on to Buhari. Now, the way I see this is that the North has had its fair share of the rotational dispensation, sometimes by default. I think the only party in Nigeria which actually has an entrenched in its constitution is the PDP. And before the PDP, the NPN. So you're looking at center-right parties actually entrenching zoning or rotational presidents in their constitution, whilst, let's say, the center-left parties haven't actually done that. Nevertheless, by default, that's actually what has happened. So come 2023, what should rightly happen is for power to come back down south. Now, that does not preclude a northerner from putting himself in the fray. That's happened all the while. I think the only time in Nigeria's history where just one ethnic group have actually provided the 2 or 3 or more presidential candidates was when Falaye and MK Abiola came in. And then, we had just the 2 presidential candidates coming in from, and he never was given the post anyway, that sort of thing. So in terms of current going forward, and to ensure that the level of brinkmanship which we have in our country does not go further, I think it would just be quite ideal for the South to provide presidential candidate and then the next president.
Okay.
Just very quickly, I know that there's an issue about suitability of the candidate, issue about putting your best foot forward, but definitely there are good candidates in every zone. And so the fact that might come down south does not mean that we're going to have lack of quality or lack of comprehensive candidates to put forward. And that's what I think, for the sake of the nation.
Okay, fantastic. Let me bring the Honorable Abayomi. Honorable, it seems that most of the panel are saying that power should rotate. I want to ask you this now. Is Kwara and Kogi really part of the North? Ought it not to be included in Southwest, considering its population is made up largely of Yorubas and other ethnic minorities? The North is not one we can see from the utterances of governors such as Autumn. So really, does it matter if the power is retained in the North? When, if you think about Kogi State, is it really core North?
Yeah, thank you so very much. May I commend you for this opportunity? One,
You're welcome, sir.
It is important that when discussing North Central should be discussed. I am very happy that you mentioned Kwara State and Kogi State. And, that actually forms the North Central of the North Central geopolitical zone. And considering the political equation, economic viability of these 2 states, particularly from the North Central zone of the country, it is important that you understand with me that we have been marginalized. Interestingly, the other, my brother OTUNBA, Femi, MAZI, EZEOKE, and even OTUNBA Eric rightly mentioned that, no, OTUNBA Femi mentioned that power should be retained in the North. MAZI, EZEOKE, and OTUNBA Eric felt, okay, it should remain in the South. Where is the place of the North Central?
That's your question.
Can I respond to that?
No, let me just add on, because we've got
I did not say power should be in the North.
No, Yusuf is still there to answer. But what I wanted to just to follow up, Honorable, just to follow up on you, as I said, from 1960, you recollect that one of the longest service presidents was from North Central in the Jos, that is Governor Gowon. He spent nearly 8 years, 6, 7 years, I can't remember exactly. Good. So North Central hasn't exactly been excluded in the governance of Nigeria.
Yes, we cannot consider that. We have discussed on this platform that the military era is, of course, different from the democratic dispensation. If we are considering this, we should begin to consider this from 1999.
Okay, so we should ignore everything that happened before 1999.
Yeah, no. It's, of course, we have no control over those.
Okay.
The constitution we are using is not to any effect at that time.
Could I add quickly, General Babangida as well? It's North Central.
Let me bring in Yusuf again. That's a military man, so we're trying to ignore that. I don't actually believe in ignoring that, but that's the general consensus on this platform. Let me bring in Yusuf, Mr. Yusuf Egawe. Mr. Youth, are you with us?
Yes, I'm very much
good.
With you.
Look, now, recently, Southern governors met and they produced a 10-point communique. And in that 10-point communique, they did not insist on rotation. I want to know, why is that? Should our constitution be amended to include rotation? Will this dampen separatist agitations? You know, at the end of the day, what is your say on this?
Yeah, I so much
You're
believe that, yes, I am a northerner from North Central Benue precisely. I so much believe that the constitution should be amended, and that very aspect of rotation of power, just for fairness, should be made amended or should be included in the constitution, so that, because if you go by the main politics and democracy, there is a region that once it has to do with the numbers, you have to either lobby them, else you will never get what you want as far as the nation is concerned. So, but when there is a situation, when there is a rotation enshrined in the constitution, then everybody will get his own fair share. Like now, it will be hard for any other region, except by an act of God like that of Jonathan or something else. You cannot deal without either north or southwest. And when you are talking about north, you talk about precisely northwest. And when you talk about south, you talk about precisely southwest. And these two regions, when you put this demarcation in the nation, either into south and west, into north and south, you just find out that northwest in the north carries the majority and bulk of the electorate, and southwest carry the bulk of the electorates and the numbers in the south as well. But when we have this rotation of power enshrined in the constitution, it will give, whether you are 6 in the whole of your region, opportunity once it's time for your region. And it will continue like that. Just the way my brother is talking about regarding Northwest, democratically, North Central has not benefited from it. That is during the democracy. But if you go back to the military era, yes, we have enjoyed it so much. Gawan, IBB, Abdul Salam, all of them are from the North Central. But democratically, we haven't.
Okay. So let me go back to Mr. Adegbulu. We know now that the northern governors also met, but they couldn't clearly agree on restructuring. The North, as we are hearing from our guests today, is clearly not one united fold. This myth that there's one North and they're all House of Fulani hegemony, this is a myth. It's not real. And this has been truly busted in 2021. Nigeria can the clamor for restructuring be attained by harnessing the split in the North, with the Southerners getting the support of North Central states, such as we have here, the states like Kwara, Kogi, Kaduna, even Plateau, Benue, and even Taraba? Are there not these because we want to know, how come restructure is not happening? The Southern governors alone, the South alone can't do it without the North. What do you say to that?
Thank you, Femi. I will answer that question, but please kindly permit me to just give you my opinion on whether the rotation between North and South should be in our constitution. And I will be very, very brief about that. I think it will be very dangerous for us to enshrine the rotation in our constitution. And I will give you some reasons for that. The rotation that we currently have now is a gentleman's agreement, okay? It should not be long-term. In the course of time, Nigeria will grow over it. Nigeria will come out of this. Remember, when you talk about rotation, it's not only geographic rotation. It's also a religious rotation embedded in this geographic rotation. For example, as of today, with this rotation that we have in place, it is difficult for the South to produce a Muslim president or vice president. By the same token, it is difficult for the North to produce a Christian president or vice president. So it is not just a geographic rotation. Embedded in this geographic rotation is a religious rotation. So just to summarize, we should see it as something temporary. The country will mature, we will grow out of this, and at the end of the day, we hope that competency is what will be the major factor to consider. And we are very close to this. Remember, the regime of Kowan and Admiral Way was a Christian ticket. But Buhari and Yabo was Muslim, right? Abiola and Kinebe. So it should be a temporary measure. It should not something we should put in the constitution.
Okay.
Now, back to your question about restructuring. This is the problem. Restructuring means different things to different people. This is why it is very difficult for us to agree on this. Restructuring to some people is an opportunity for them to be a big fish in a small river. Okay.
Well, let's not stay too much on the restructuring debate because of time. You know, we're already running late. So yeah, I get your point now. Let me bring back Mazi. Mazi, you there?
Yes, I am.
So good. If you want to follow up on any of the other points, you can. But I want to ask you this: the PDP's hold in the north is expanding, whilst APC's hold on the south appears to be expanding. In 2023, there's unlikely to be a block 12 million President Muhammad Buhari votes in favor of a single candidate, northern candidate. So, can the north alone garner enough votes to lead Nigeria? Who will likely be their allies, considering the agitations of separatists in the south?
Well, again, as I said at my opening statement, you would probably be losing the south if you insist, because probably you think you have the vote that you want to retain power in the north. But before I go into that details, I would like to respond to SULEIMAM. You see, the conversation, if you guys pay attention here, the conversation is power rotation between north and south, not the sub-regions within the region, okay? North and south. Now, if you want to make any argument for middle belt, now you can make an argument for middle belt when power comes back to the north. You can talk about the northwest had held power, then what of northeast? What of middle belt? Because middle belt geographically, in today's context, it's still within, you know, the northern region. Then you can make that argument. But if you want to go, you know, totally in driving your own narrative, I can tell you, if you talk about military, southeast is not there. If you talk about civilian, southeast is not there. Then in that case, then I can tell you, if the president doesn't come from southeast, then it means we're not getting it right. However, the argument, I say again, is not about you know, the sub, whether it's northwest, northeast, whatever. It's about north and south. Now to the, you know, to the question here, you know, it is a little bit funny actually that we should be discussing, or that we are already discussing 2023, whereas we are in 2021 and the nation appears to be falling apart. What bothers me now is, what should we be doing to harness those that have mentally departed from the entity called Nigeria? Because this entity, whatever we are doing, it has to be for a people. But if we insist to discuss 2023, whether power should go to north or to the south, I mean, I say there is no equivocation here. Like my good friend OTUNBA Femi rightly and brilliantly put, when you talk about rotation, it should be something to be, you know, because if you enshrine it in the constitution, it might give you troubles in the future. However, there are nations that have actually put that in their constitution, and, you know, it hasn't broken anything. If you look at Switzerland, Switzerland has in their constitution a rotational presidency that when you have this canton produces a presidency, this canton produces a vice president, and they have multiple vice presidents. These are a thinking people that have taken into cognizance that they are different people and that this is a reality that they have to deal with if they have to remain together. Ours, if we think that because of our ethnic numbers, because when we think about Wazobia, that is the Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba, being the bigger fish in the pond, we can swallow the others. I think that's, for me, that's actually not a very brilliant way of going into something that is more complex, because there are more nationalities. And the question remains, how do you, let's say for argument's sake, 8 years, if all these regions, the Southeast, the South-South, the Southwest, the Northeast, the Northwest, and the North Central, if all these regions produces presidency, so what? Do you now discard rotation and go into competence? But again,
meritocracy.
Again, exactly, meritocracy. But again, discussing, where the president, whether he's South or not, doesn't take away meritocracy.
It doesn't.
Every single state, if not every single local government in Nigeria, have enough competent hand to govern Nigeria if we are a thinking people and if we are serious.
Okay, let me bring Otunba or Ayola back into this question. Otunba, look, still on this rotation, before we get into the candidates from the north, presidential rotation is not part of the Federal Republic of Nigeria's constitution or part of the constitution of either of the two political parties. And there appears to be a secret gentleman's agreement with APC for rotation to the south. Why should 2023 be retained in the north when the southeast region has not held elected presidency since 1999 and even since independence?
Absolutely. I think very quickly, if we go back into time, the issue about rotational presidency or rotational power is actually almost from the inception of democracy, or rather of independence in Nigeria, 1960, and it's still with us today. So it's not a new thing. Secondly, yes, a constitution actually should be set up and enacted to serve the people and taking into account their sentiments and their feelings and their instincts, their idiosyncrasies. That's what a constitution should do. And that's why I'm actually fully in support of rotational presidency being entrenched in the constitution along the 6 geopolitical zones. Comoros Island, Maz has mentioned about Switzerland. What about Comoros Island? This is an island of just under 1 million people, formed of 3 islands. And since independence in, I think, 1970s, they've had about 20 coups in that small space amongst 1 million people. So some people will say Nigeria is too unwieldy, that's why it's this and that. But frankly, that's not the case. And the Comorans have sorted their problems by rotating the presidency around the 3 islands. And it's working for them. Likewise, Nigeria. The fact of the matter is that, yes, sure, politics is a game of numbers. But again, democracy is not just about the majority and their way, but the minority and the protection of their rights. So if, let's say, we have what we have, which is you must win 2/3 of the states. So all that the North probably would have to do is to just take either the Southeast or Southwest, and they can carry on providing the presidency ad infinitum. But one thing I need to say quite quickly is that the situation in Nigeria, as Maz has referred to, is quite dire. And the reason for that is the feeling, whether real or perceived or fabricated, of marginalization, of being frozen out of power, and so on and so forth. Okay. Personally, I don't think that's the case. Because even under the current dispensation, we have the president, the vice president, the Senate speaker, and so on and so forth, who are actually, House of Rep speaker, sorry, who are actually from various geopolitical entity. I think the Southwest, perhaps in the top echelon, is probably the most marginalized. But every other region, from North Central to South, South to Southeast, are represented in that forum. Going forward, the way I think for Nigeria to step back from the brinkmanship, which we are currently, is for everybody to have a feeling and a sense of belonging. And how do you do that? If you entrench rotational presidency around the 6 geopolitical zones. And of course, in each zone, from time to time, they'll need to, of course, determine who gets what. Currently, the Yoruba Southwest have produced 2 presidents, let's say from Shonekan to Obasanjo, and currently the vice president. But when you actually look at that, all 3 of them are actually from Ogun State.
Yeah,
so actually, you can say
that's my state.
That's actually not even what within Southwest, but that's something to consider. So there's got to be a bit of drill down.
Let me bring this
rotational around the 6 geopolitical zones.
Let me bring the honourable in. Honourable Abayomi, look, you mentioned that the marginalization of North Central. They're talking about rotation. They're talking about marginalization. I want to go back to this rotational presidency provision. It's not in the Constitution. It's not even in the political parties. However, there's said to be this gentleman's agreement made in dark rooms of rotation between the North and the South. But I'm sure this agreement is not going to see the light of day, as your governor, Yahaya Bello, is openly expressing his intention to contest in 2023. I guess he's not party to that agreement in APC. What do you say to that?
Yeah, thank you very much. Oh, Governor Yahaya Bello is not actually considering presidency because he's from the North Central, but more particularly because of competency, capacity, and of course, the ability to pilot the affairs of the nation. Rotational presidency is important because every region and every political zone should have that sense of belonging, that sense of acceptance that, okay, Nigeria is for all and Nigeria is for one. Like I do say, it is important that we remember that North Central is not just part of the North, is a core, is a major part of the North that should not just be left aside.
Okay, but Honorable, what I would say to you is, what do you say to those who are saying that that means that Governor Yahaya Bello is not a team player? He's part of APC. They have this gentleman's agreement. Is he not a team player?
I didn't get that, please.
What do you say to those that claim that Governor Yahaya Bello is not a team player? He's a member of APC. APC say they have this gentleman's agreement of rotation to the South. So if he's not falling in line with that, he's not a team player.
Governor Yahaya Bello is a perfect team player. And I believe that you know very well. And aside that, the APC at the moment hasn't even discussed anything about rotation.
So it's not solidified. That's why
the idea, let me quickly add this, please. The idea of rotation was the making of the PDP at
zoning,
that time.
That was zoning.
That was the zoning thing. So it wasn't an idea of the APC. And I tell you sincerely speaking that the APC strongly believes in fairness, equity, and justice for all. And so even when the time comes for the debate as to rotation, where it should go to and all that, I am very, very confident that the APC will do justice.
Okay, we're going to go on a break now. We're going to come back. But when we go on a break, we'll come back and we'll look at, I know I missed Yusuf for the second question, but we'll bring you up in the second part of the question, in the second segment. So we're going to look at particular candidates from the North before we go on to specifically about Yahaya Bello. So we're going to take a break now. So we'll see you out of the break. Enough is enough, Soro Soke.
ẹ̀sùn fún wọn nílé afẹ́ ò tàbí níbikíbi. Bóyá 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 ò kẹ́gbọ́n mi. Sweet Heart Fruit ń bẹ́lẹ̀ yìí dé o, ó táwọn yọ.
Wow! Here is a good information for everybody. Have the rich taste of fruit in different form at your parties, event, church program, or social engagement like wedding, birthday, conference in your house, and lots more. Fruit cocktails, fruit arrangement, fruit palm tree, smoothie, fruit basket decoration, fruit kebab, and lots more at Sweet Heart Fruit Company. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, ní gbogbo ibi tí a bá ti ń ṣe àríyá, ìgbéyàwó, ọjọ́ ìbí, àjọ̀dún ilé ìjọsìn, níbi afẹ́ tàbí ibi ìgbádùn àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ, ẹ kàn sí Sweet Heart Fruit ní èyíkéyìí ohun tí ẹ bá fẹ́ kí wọ́n fi fruit dálẹ́rà fún yín bíi fruit cocktail, fruit arrangement, fruit palm tree, smoothie, fruit basket decoration àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Níbikíbi tí ẹ bá wà, ẹ lè kàn sí wa lórí ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ yìí 079-442-78530 or follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all social media platforms at Sweet Heart Fruit. Oluwaseun Akishoun is the CEO of Sweet Heart Fruit. Patronize us at Sweet Heart Fruit today. You will be glad you business with us.
Hi guys, my name is Yabo and I am the founder of Masasi B. If you're looking for unique African-inspired clothing and accessories, please check out my brand. All details are at the end of this video. Feel free to get in touch. Thank you.
Just a moment. Welcome back to the show. Enough is enough. Soro Soke with my guests who remain with us. We're talking about retaining power in the North come 2023 and possible candidates that are going to be coming. I know before we go into the candidates, I'm going to give you this shout, Mr. Yusuf. Let me give you a question for you. Looking at the way the Southwest and the Southwest play their politics, they're unlikely to support a northern candidate, especially with the pressure of agitations, separatist agitators at their back and call. So what do you say to that?
Well, definitely, I had one of the guest speakers talk about this guy from Kogi State was talking about issue of zoning, which has to do with PDP, while rotation of power is exclusively an APC thing. That's why anytime we talk about this rotation, you hear some of the people that were part and parcel of the merger of APC talk about we must respect the agreement
done in the dark rooms in night somewhere, the gentleman's agreement that no one can see the paper. We don't even know who signed the paper. And none of the people who supposedly signed it have come to admit to say, yes, I signed that paper.
Yeah, but they always talk about a
handshake.
But they always talk about
a
rotation.
Just a handshake. Okay.
No, maybe there will be some manuscript somewhere that we are yet to dig out, but they will definitely come out when the time is right. But for me, I feel like a Southern president, as we always talk about in APC, should be the way forward. Doesn't matter which part of the South.
And you're a northerner from
North Central, yes.
State,
and I am
Benue State, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
And
good.
sincerely, what Yahaya Bello is doing, if he is genuinely serious, I am not a supporter.
We haven't got to Yahaya Bello. Don't start talking about him. So let's start talking about the candidates, and I'm going to give. I'm going to look at what. Let me just get onto the screen. I'm going to give Mr. ADEGBULUGBE the first option on these candidates. So amongst the list we have the ubiquitous former Vice President Atiku, always contesting. He's from the north. He's most probably going to put his hat in the ring for the PDP. We have former Senate President Saraki, another North Central chap. Outgoing governors El Rufai of Kaduna, he could possibly be gunning for it. Governor Otum of Benue, your governor, Yusuf. We've also got Lang of Plateau. Who knows? Is he going in the hat? Tambuwal of Sokoto, another one. We've also got Ganduje of Kanu, who some refer to as Gandola. I don't know if he's going to be able to suffer, get over that scandal at the end of his term, but he's there. There's also people talking about the new governor, Zulum Obono. And then I think there's Kwankwaso. He's also another potential presidential, he has potential presidential ambitions. And of course, last but not least, we have the youngest elected governor in YAHAYA BELLO of Kogi State, but we will speak to him in the next segment. So, Mr. ADEGBULUGBE, what do you think of these people that we've mentioned here? And I'm going to put it open to everybody. What do you think of them for power to retain in the North? Mr. ADEGBULUGBE, are you there? You turn on your mic?
It's muted at the moment.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for that question. This is the way I will approach that question, okay, from my own point of view. First of all, from the list you have presented, constitutionally, all the names you mentioned are qualified based on the constitutional requirements. But for me, this is what I will be looking at. The first criteria is to rotate power, the criteria of rotating power from the north to the south. So anybody on that list that is not from the south, first of all, I will personally would not meet my criteria for 2023 because it's about, first of all, we need to meet this gentleman's agreement.
Across the hurdle of rotation.
And then secondly, this will be my condition, right? This is what I'll be looking for in those candidates. I will be looking for somebody that satisfies what I call the 4 C's: continuity, consolidation, competence, and character. This will be the criteria I will be looking for in 2023, and aside from north-south rotation.
Okay, so of these that mentioned, do you see any of those that you think can follow in with those 4 C's?
Yes, exactly. So one person from the list that you have mentioned, one person that overwhelmingly meets these 4 C criteria for 2023, in my opinion, would be Professor Yemi Osinbajo.
No, but he's not in this list. He's not in this list.
He's not in this list. So, okay, my answer would be nobody in that list meets my criteria.
Okay, let me go on to MAZI EZEOKE. Are you there, MAZI?
Yes, MAZI EZEOKE is here. Yes, MAZI EZEOKE is here. I'm laughing. The reason why I'm laughing, I probably will give you the shortest answer.
Good.
All the names you've mentioned are good for vice president. They cannot be president if we want equity and fairness. That's my shortest answer.
And if you were to take, who would be your preference for vice presidential candidate of this list that we've got there now?
Well, again, we must look for, based on the experience or things we are currently experiencing now in Nigeria, if at all, we must look for someone who is a cosmopolitan Nigerian. Okay,
so which of them?
Honestly,
you put your head out, your neck out.
If I tell you,
VP?
I think so. Being serious here, I think the names you've mentioned, the North, can do better than those names.
Okay. Do you have any other particular candidate I haven't mentioned here?
Yes.
Okay, Mr.
I passed that to Otunba.
You passed Otunba.
Do pardon me, did you mention El Rufai, the current governor of Kaduna State?
I mentioned El Rufai. Yes,
you
I
did. Okay.
Yeah.
So just to answer that question, and I'm not going to pass the buck or sit to the fence. Of course, you know where my position is in terms of the next president coming from. But hypothetically, if we were just to go with those that you mentioned, my choice definitely will be El Rufai. That'll be based on his performance as the Minister of Federal Capital Territory, and then currently as the Governor of Kaduna State. He's actually taken, is in the news recently.
Yeah, we're going to come on to that at the end. We're going to come on to that at the end.
It'll be my preferred choice.
Yeah, because I've got some, we may have some reservations on El Rufai with the shenanigans, with the NLC,
but that'll be my
choice. All that kind of stuff, so, that's going to be another kettle of fish to discuss.
Every single one of them will be controversial, but that'll be my choice of these controversial figures.
Okay, I doubt that Vice President Atiku wants to be Vice President again. So let me bring the next question to Honorable Abayomi. I know none of those four-mentioned people are your preferred candidate. Of course, your preferred candidate is Governor Yahaya Bello, His Excellency Yahaya Bello. But if in the absence of him, what about any of those other people? Would any of them take your fancy? Hello, are you there, Honorable? Is Honorable still there?
He's muted at the moment.
Honorable, can you unmute your mic? Honorable, can you hear us? Okay, let me put the question on to Yusuf.
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, yes, we can hear you now. You're back with us. Good. Go ahead.
I'm back. Yeah, please, can you repeat those names? I didn't get those.
Okay, so we have a list of potential other presidential candidates from the north. So I'll start from former Vice President Atiku. I'm sure he's not your flavor, being that he's a PDP man. Former Senate President Saraki, another PDP man. We've got outgoing governors El Rufai of Kaduna, Autumn of Benue, Lang of Plateau, Tambuwal of Sokoto, Ganduje of Kanu, and new governor Zulum of Borno. And also we got, I think it's ex-governor, is it Kwankwaso is the governor, ex-governor? Of those, yeah, of those. And some on the panel are saying that they would be better preferred as VP candidates as opposed to presidential candidates. Which of them, apart from your principal, would you put your neck out for?
I won't put my neck out for any accidental president.
Okay. Only Yahaya Bello for you. Okay, let me ask you this question then. This is a follow-up on that one. Nigerians will be saddened to hear that in this list that we've put together of potential northern candidates, we've focused on the same old politicians, the same people that Nigeria say have caused the mess that we're in right now. So who else in the north, from the new breed of politicians, can we call upon? Some people have said Sheikh Gumi is a potential presidential candidate because he seems to perform wonders with kidnappers and he can perform the unbelievable. There's also CEO Dangote. What about him? Or the head of the CEO of Bua Group. Some have even said go back to President IBB. What do you think about those? Are you
frankly speaking,
you're not enthralled by any of them either? Go ahead, Honorable.
Can I talk now?
Yes, go ahead, Honorable.
All right. Yeah, thank you. You see, frankly speaking, we should, I said something earlier, that it is time that we let go of these accidental leaders and all that. What we need now as a nation is a purposeful leader, a leader that can take us out of this quagmire that we are in already. And as a matter of fact, we, the youth of Nigeria, we are rooting for your ability to come out and contest. Be proud to his emergence as the governor of Kogi State.
Let's not dwell so much on him because we're gonna, after the break, we're gonna concentrate on him. So you can go in depth on him after the break. So let me just bring the last question before the break, and that's going to be to Yusuf. Yusuf, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Good. And the question I have for you is that we talked about all these particular candidates from the north, and we haven't mentioned any female candidates. Is there, and I know that someone previously was talking about Mama Taraba as a possible candidate from the north, but unfortunately she passed away not too long ago. I want to know that someone has said to me that what about the possibility of a vice president of Aisha Buhari as being the vice presidential candidate? What do you think about that? She's very outspoken and she can hold her own, and she's got very strong views. Is that a viable option to have President Muhammad Buhari staying in Aso Rock as the first man or as the husband of Nigeria's first female vice president? What do you think about that?
It's going to be the shortest answer is a no, 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 because she will decampaign and demarket herself by herself.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she's no good. No other any other females from the north?
Oh, you know there is like in the north, leadership for women is more especially from the Islamic part. It's not I don't know how to say it, but it's not something they normally go with. Which you know, it's rather better for a man to be on the top than for a woman to be.
I mean, what Otunba mentioned the El Rufai, and I remember in the 2019 election, he actually had a female, all Muslim ticket, a female vice deputy governor. What about her?
Yeah, he's trying to bring in something new, like you were talking about the other time on the presidential candidate among the other list. I wish I was part of those that would have responded to that. My answer will definitely be.
You want to talk about that list?
Yeah.
Yeah, quickly before we go to break. Go on.
Okay, my answer will definitely be El-Rufai. One is he's creative, he has new initiatives, and he's ready to take any bull by the horn. As long as it's not favoring the government, it's not going in line with what the state can do, you take it out. It doesn't matter who is against it or who is supporting it. There's one among his determination I like. It doesn't matter whether you support him or you go against him. As long as it's going to be favorable to his state, that's what he does.
Okay.
And go to the state. I have passed through Kaduna sometimes, a lot of times when I'm going to Kano, and I have seen how he has transformed and is still transforming Kaduna. You talk about the IGR, you talk about infrastructure. I know that El-Rufai has done wonderfully well, and even policy-wise. I don't want to talk about the recent happening because he said we are going to talk about it. So when we get there, we will talk about it.
Okay, good. But I noticed you didn't mention security, and that's a problem in Kaduna State. Well, anyway, we're going to go on another break now, and when we come back, we're going to look at the case for and against Yahaya Bello, governor of Kogi State, the confluent state. So enough is enough at Soro Soke. We're going out on another break. See you soon.
Hi guys, my name is Yabo and I am the founder of MAZI B. If you're looking for unique African-inspired clothing and accessories, please check out my brand. All details are at the end of this video. Feel free to get in touch. Thank you.
níbi àríyá tàbí lóde ayẹyẹ gbogbo nílé afẹ́ ò tàbí níbikíbi. Bóyá 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 ò kẹ́gbọ́n mi. Sweet heart fruit ń bẹ́lẹ̀ ìdè o, ó táwọn yọ.
Wow! Here is a good information for everybody. Have the taste of fruit in different form at your parties, event, church program, on social engagement like wedding, birthday, conference, in your house, and lots more. Fruit cocktails, fruit arrangement, fruit palm tree, smoothie, fruit basket decoration, fruit kebab, and lots more at Sweet Art Fruit Company. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, ní gbogbo ibi tí a bá ti ń ṣe àríyá, ìgbéyàwó, ọjọ́ ìbí, àjọ̀dún ilé ìjọsìn, níbi afẹ́ tàbí ibi ìgbádùn àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ, ẹ kàn sí Sweet Art Fruit ní èyíkéyìí ohun tí ẹ bá fẹ́ kí wọ́n fi fruit dálẹ́rà fún yín bíi fruit cocktail, fruit arrangement, fruit palm tree, smoothie, fruit basket decoration àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Níbikíbi tí ẹ bá wà, ẹ lè kàn sí wa lórí ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ yìí 079-442-78530 or follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and all social media platforms at Sweet Art Fruit. Oluwaseun Akishoun is the CEO of Sweet Art Fruit. Patronize us at Sweet Art Fruit today. You will be glad you business with us.
Welcome back to Enough is Enough, Soro Soke. We have come to the main feature of the case for and against Yahaya Bello. So let's start with Honorable ABAYOMI, the Senior Special Assistant to Governor Yahaya Bello of Kogi State, who is in favor of his principal's candidacy come 2023. Let's look at the case for Yahaya Bello. What are the positive points that distinguish Yahaya Bello to take on the mantle of the presidency of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? Honorable. Honorable, are you here?
Thank you.
Go ahead.
May I quickly say this, that it's you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Hello? Oh,
yes,
okay.
we can. Yes.
Major, all right, good. It's 8 o'clock in Nigeria now. And like I said earlier, enough of accidental leaders. The time now for us is to have leaders with purpose, youthful and useful leaders. Leaders with ideas that can take us to the next stage. Leaders that can pilot the affairs of the nation progressively. You agree with me that we have security challenges in Nigeria today. Governor Yahaya Bello portends that great opportunity for us as a nation to get it right security-wise. As we speak today, in the whole of North and Northern Nigeria, Kogi State, I can tell you authoritatively, that is the most peaceful state in Nigeria today. It's a safe haven for investors. And so it is important that we bring these templates to the national. Help our women, help the youth, come up with programs and policies that will take us to be a par with developed nations of the world. And this is exactly what we are saying. We cannot continue to condone accidental leaders. We cannot continue to do the same thing and expect or hope that there will be changes over time. No, there should at this point be a paradigm shift from the old system, from the ways of old that we have been doing things. And that is why, as youths and as people of this great nation, we are calling on Yahaya Bello to come 2023 and be the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Fantastic. I appreciate that. I want to take this question to...
Can you hear me?
Yes, I said, yes, thank you for that. We appreciate that. That was a resounding call for the case for His Excellency Yahaya Bello. Let me bring OTUNBA ADEGBULUGBE, yeah? President Obasanjo was an accident, because the Honorable has mentioned this accidental president. President Obasanjo was an accidental president, and he was twice that. First, when the untimely death of late Murtala Mohammed, and then installed as a compensation for the Southwest when the alleged poisoning of MK Abiola. Goodluck Jonathan became the lucky accidental president with the death of Yaradua. His history set to repeat itself with Yahaya Bello, who emerged following the death of Prince Abubakar Audu as the ABC winner of the 2015 Kogi elections before his untimely death. Is he yet another accidental leader?
very much for your. Thank you very much. I always say.
Your volume, we can't hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now? Can you hear me
now? Go ahead. Yes,
okay.
Go ahead.
Thank you very much for that question. Like I always say, what we are talking about here, what is at stake is the president of Nigeria, the highest office in the land. So what does this mean? It means that there has to be some standard, high standard of qualification to.
The Honourable has given us a list of
to assess.
He's given us a list of positive things that's happening in Kogi State.
Exactly. So there has to be a high level of standard, to occupy this position. This is the highest office position in the land. Yeah. So looking at the characteristics, some of the things he provided to us, he said that we need a youthful leader. Okay. I support a gradual transition of power, from the current space to the next generation of Nigerian leaders. But let me tell you something here. Let me just say something here, with all due respect. The current governors, our youthful governors, unfortunately, in terms of performance, they occupy the bottom list of the current governors in terms of performance. What does that tell us? It tells us that being a youth is not enough. It's not a criteria. It's not a function of age. It comes with a lot, experience, exposure, all other criteria. So this idea of saying that, because you are a youth, therefore you should, is a criteria. I think we are taking it too far, right? He did mention the
achievements that he is achieving in Kogi State as well. So you think that Yahaya Bello is not the right one for you? I know you've said that already, hasn't it? Okay, let me bring Mazi back into the equation because of time. Look, Mazi, are you here? Can you hear me? Mazi, can you hear me? Are you still with us?
Please yes, I can hear you. I'm here.
Okay, look, now let's look like the world can see what is happening in Brazil and India, led by leaders who openly canvass that COVID is not real. Can Nigeria afford to elect Yahaya Bello, His Excellency Yahaya Bello, who does not believe in COVID either?
I'm trying to be respectful here, but everyone has their opinion. Some people have the right to campaign for him, but I remember before the bailout, before the 2019 presidential election, I remember workers in Kogi and his essay there could correct me if I'm wrong. I remember people crying that they were owed months of unpaid salary, which eventually was refuted, so to say. But they cry out. Now, for me, there are things. When I say people who, when I say before that every name mentioned could be for vice president, not president, that was for a reason. Now, you asked me a question in terms of what do you do when men and women who ought to govern are not showing the light. I felt so extremely disappointed, I must say, that a person who is young, who is youth, has discarded science. It beats me silly when I listen to people like the governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, and Dino Melaye, and others, when they talk about how what COVID is not and the other thing. And, and I said to myself, even if I have strong opinion of these things, right? As a leader, there are things you shouldn't say. And imagine you elect the same person as your president, and suddenly you have what we had in the case of Ebola during the time of Goodluck Jonathan, or you have in the case of COVID-19, rather than get your people together to find ways to stop this. And someone is actually doubting if that disease is real or if it can actually infect. And you ask yourself, bear in mind, before we had about 2,400 people dying daily in the United Kingdom. And when they started vaccination, Europe was saying, oh, AstraZeneca, blah, blah, blah. But they continued, because when you deal with empirical evidence, they continued, and today you have less than 10 people. Again, people with extreme vulnerability are the ones that die. So the question then to me is, what makes a leader? In times of crisis, the crisis could be security. I mean, I'm not in Kogi. Let me take whatever my good friend there says is happening in Kogi, that he has secured that place. Fine. Let him give other governors, especially the one close to him, in the person of El-Rufai, let him give him the template to rout out the bandits there, or let him give that same template to Castina and Nasarawa. Let them use the same template that he has implemented in Kogi and route them out. We say in my place, for you to know how from the smell of the fat, you will know or have an idea how the real deal will taste if ever it gets into your mouth. So that is my conclusion on that.
I'm not sure I want to smell that part. Anyway, let me give Honourable back another opportunity, because it looks like most of the people on the panel.
Can I say something, please?
Yeah, I want to bring the Honourable. Hold on, let me bring the Honourable back, because I want it to be a balanced show. I had other people who were supposed to come on in support of Yahaya Bello, but they weren't able to come on. Yeah, Honourable, look, I want to give you another opportunity. Let's look at the case for Yahaya Bello again. The positive points that distinguish him against others. Because to be president, it takes organizational skills, it takes funding, it takes team player mentality. There's a lot of things that go into the mix. Can Yahaya Bello, because he needs to get support across the land, it's not just in the North Central, across the land, has he got the structure to be able to pull it off? Because I remember it wasn't too long ago, he brought Femi Oke saying that he's coming back to APC, and for some reason, Femi Oke is there saying, no, I'm still in PDP. So what do you say to that?
Yeah, thank you very much. May I quickly respond to my brother?
Go ahead, yes, of course. Yes.
Considering the salary issue that he mentioned, it is important to put it on record, or possibly to remind you, that when Governor Yahaya Bello came on board, he inherited a mere civil service system, and in the process of filling up the system, there was a screening exercise that took place. You can hardly imagine that one civil servant every month goes home with salaries for 10, 50, 30 people. So it was very, very important at that time to clear up those SSCs and start afresh. And that was exactly what he did through that screening exercise, validation and revalidation exercise of the civil service system. Of the civil service commission. So it was at that period of time, and it will interest you to know that nobody talks about salary again in COVID. Secondly, on the issue of COVID-19, His Excellency mentioned specifically and repeatedly about the commercialization of COVID-19. It wasn't a case of not believing if there was COVID or no COVID. No, it was about the commercialization of COVID-19. And it doesn't matter if the US, the Britain, or France, wherever, provided you are standing for the right thing. Even if you are standing alone, be sure you are standing for the right cause. And that was exactly the issue. Governor Yahaya Bello is a visionary leader. He's a purposeful man. He knows exactly what the right thing to be done. and he goes for it at every point in time. It isn't just about being a youthful man. He's resourceful. He's purposeful. And that is exactly what he's been doing. And that's exactly what we are bringing to the table.
Has he taken the vaccine?
That's the question for you, Honorable. Are you aware of whether the governor has taken the vaccine?
No. Has the governor taken the vaccine?
And he actually said he was not going to take it. You don't take pills.
Okay. He hasn't taken it.
Okay, he hasn't.
Let me bring the next question.
Vaccines when you are not sick?
Yeah, it's optional. It's not by force. And even in the UK, it's not by force. My wife hasn't taken it. I'm hearing you. My wife hasn't taken it. I've taken the vaccine, but my wife hasn't taken it. So it's optional. It's not compulsory. Let me put the next question to Otumba Ayola. Are you there, sir?
I am. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good. Look, I mean,
as we speak.
Go ahead. Yes.
As we speak, Kogi State has received its own share. Hello, can you hear me?
We're hearing you. Go on. Carry on. We're hearing you. Quickly.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Hello?
Yes, we can.
Oh, goodness.
We can hear you, but you can't hear you.
Kogi State has received it. Yes, thank you. Kogi State has received. I can hear you now. I hear you. Kogi State has received its own share of the vaccine, and it is open to the public for whoever desires who are taking the vaccine in Lokoja and across Kogi State as a whole. Across all the 21 local governments of the state, who are taking the vaccine. But it is not important for the governor to take it. If he does want to take it, he will. But nobody compels anybody to go to the hospital and take medications for. If I feel like taking medication, I told you. If I feel like taking medication, I take. So you cannot force me to begin to take the medication when I do not have a need for it.
That's fine. That's fine. That's a genuine position that people are taking. But let me move it on to Otumba Ayola. Look, I believe in the APC, as we said before, there's a gentleman's agreement to rotate power to the south. YAHAYA Bello bringing his head up now is seen as a disloyalty amongst some APC party members that he's putting the apple amongst the cart and he's not allowing the gentleman's agreement to happen. Just like Donald Duke, during the time of PDP, also put himself forward when power was supposed to be zoned to the north. What do you think of this? Is this antics or is this proper politicking? What do you think?
I think one of the main things actually is the fact that you have certain governors, I must say, who, or maybe not just governors, some other people too, who actually believe that they are above the political party that brought them into power. We've seen that replete all over the Nigerian political landscape, where governors just simply believe that they are the power brokers and, you know, they can do anything and just simply contravene perhaps what their party is saying. And this is just an example of it. I would have wanted Governor YAHAYA Bello to put himself forward when the time is right. He's 45. If we still have Atiku, who's still challenging President Buhari, challenged about 4 times, if I'm correct, so he can still have his time. So I think I'll agree that this is just simply putting the cat amongst the pigeons. I wanted to walk up the policy rather than a serious attempt really to go for the presidency. And I wish he would step back from that and put himself forward at the right time and put his credentials on the table. Very quickly, in terms of the COVID-19 thing, that's actually very worrisome for me. We've seen the Brazilian president and the way he's handled COVID-19, even President Donald Trump. This is not a play thing. And I would actually contest...
See what's happening in India. Look what's happening in
India as well, yeah. And so it's not just simply the fact that Governor YAHAYA Bello is questioning the economics of COVID-19, is actually denying the potency of it, including the need to even have vaccines in Nigeria at all, because according to him, the weather in Nigeria is different from other climes, so we can cope with whatever COVID-19 throws at us. And I think that's a bit dangerous. We wouldn't actually, for God's sake, want that man to be at the helms of affairs, despite a lot of maybe other good things that he has done in his state.
Okay, let me also say that. Could this also be a political tactic of His Excellency to try and gun for the vice presidency? That's a possibility.
That is very, very valid. And we've seen that as well. It's a political gimmick in Nigeria as well. So you put yourself up there, you garner some kind of support, you place yourself in the spotlight, and then you settle for less. It's a known tactic, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's actually the game plan.
Okay, before we go on to current affairs, I want to bring Yusuf back in again. Yusuf, look, regardless of party, who would you consider to be the best potential candidate that should emerge from elsewhere, the north or elsewhere, to lead the Federal Republic of Nigeria in 2023? Yusuf, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what to even start. Yeah, I don't know how to start, but well, we need somebody that is firm, somebody that is competent, somebody that is healthy.
Very important. Yeah.
Yes, if I can get these three things, I think I'm fine.
So who are you nudging your hat at the moment? Who are you looking at as a potential for 2023, whether it's from the north or anywhere else?
Oh, this is free.
Am I putting you on the spot there, am I?
I will put myself. I'll go for it.
Say it again?
I'll go for it. If you are saying anybody.
You. Okay. All right.
Absolutely. Why not?
Okay, no problem. Put yourself forward. Okay, we understand. Okay, look, we're going to go back on that note, we're going to go out on another break. But before I go out on another break, let me just give you some comments that we've gotten from here. We've got Mr. Kumi Akin Ade. He says Bello doesn't have what it will take to take Kogi out of the woods in the next 2 decades. We don't need a baby Trump, he says. Another person, Akim Ari, says Yahaya Bello or Northern region retaining power is out of the way. It's not the way forward. So those are a couple of top topics that I've just seen on the net. Anyway, we're going to go now and we're going to come back for the final segment, and it's going to be about current affairs. So stay tuned to Enough is Enough. Soro Soke. See you after the break.
Wow! Here is a good information for everybody. Have the taste of fruit in different form at your parties, event, church program, or social engagement like wedding, birthday, conference in your house, and lots more. Fruit cocktails, fruit arrangement, fruit palm tree, smoothie, fruit basket decoration, fruit kebab, and lots more at Sweet Art Fruit Company. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, ní gbogbo ibi tí a bá ti ń ṣe àríyá, ìgbéyàwó, ọjọ́ ìbí, àjọ̀dún ilé ìjọsìn, níbi afẹ́ tàbí ibi ìgbádùn àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ, ẹ kàn sí Sweet Art Fruit ní èyíkéyìí ohun tí ẹ bá fẹ́ kí wọ́n fi fruit dálára fún yín bíi fruit cocktail, fruit arrangement, fruit palm tree, smoothie, fruit basket decoration àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Níbikíbi tí ẹ bá wà, ẹ lè kàn sí wa lórí ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ yìí 079-442-78530 or follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all social media platforms at Sweet Art Fruit. Oluwaseun Akishoun is the CEO of Sweet Art Fruit. Patronize us at Sweet Art Fruit today. You will be glad you business with us.
Hi guys, my name is Yabo and I am the founder of Masasi B. If you're looking for unique African-inspired clothing and accessories, please check out my brand. All details are at the end of this video. Feel free to get in touch. Thank you.
Welcome back to the shop. Enough. The show.
Are you in
Enough
Abuja?
is enough. Soro Soke. Now we're going to start with current affairs and what's trending right now. And I'll put this to MAZI. You can take this first stab, MAZI. Is that Governor Ayade has now joined APC. So some people say that the PDP is waning whilst APC is growing despite the poor economic and security index. Ayade cited the insincerity of PDP leadership and its manipulation of social media to endanger the country's security and unity, whilst others say that he might be seeking a safe haven to shield himself ahead of possible corruption allegations once his immunity is over in 2023. What do you see of this?
Well, the only, we
want to quick on these ones because we want to rush to the end. Go on.
Yeah, when politicians jump ship, suddenly the sheep that they were yesterday start smelling. While there, it never smells.
You got a thing for smells, haven't you, Mark?
Yeah, it starts smelling because when a system smells, everything for you smells. So that's the thing. Now, he has jumped ship. And listening to him, he's saying that XYZ happened and X. Now he's gone he's coming to APC. It reminds me what the former party chairman Adams Oshomole once said, that once you come into the party APC, your sins are forgiven. I will leave. I mean, that's what he said. These are his words. I have the video. Therefore, I will leave the final details for the viewers to digest. I'm not saying by this statement that there is anything for him to hide, but I'm just opposing something a former party chairman said, that when you come crossover, your sins are forgiven. Okay. Is he a sinner, political sinner? I do not know. I leave the viewers.
Okay, MAZI, I'll continue with you. So basically what you're saying is there's no smoke without fire. And of course, with smoke, there's a smell of smoke, isn't there? So you like that smoke. Anyway, I want to bring OTUNBA ADEGBULUGBE back onto the scene. Are you there? Put your mic on. So again, another trending issue, you've got the Attorney General of the Federation, Malami. He's likened the ban on open grazing and restriction on commercial motorcycles in the South to restriction on freedom of movement. This is coming from the chief legal advisor to the federal government and Nigeria. Are these statements not enough to fire him? He has proved repeatedly to be inept and incapable of carrying out the functions of the AGF. The AGF office satisfactory to date. We can also recollect his initial comments about Amotekun. What do you say about this, Malami, man?
Yeah, so thank you very much. That is a very, very good question, and it is something I have pondered over all day long. That statement from Malami was very, very unfortunate, and that leads me again to the issue of
your volume.
The president himself. Okay, Malami is occupying the position he occupies today because of the inability of the president to choose the right people to work with him. And that is what defines the president's capacity to be. Now, let us look at Malami's statement. The government, this same government, came up with a process, right? A solution of ranching. Right? The government adopted ranching, that they would build ranches all over the country. What does that mean? When you adopt ranching, right? You build ranches, that is indirectly a ban on open grazing. You cannot have ranches and have open grazing. Both of them don't work together. So what has the southern governors done? The southern governors are simply implementing the federal government directive on building ranches by banning open grazing. So the flip-flop, this U-turn from Malami is very unfortunate.
Okay,
just very, very briefly, right? And let me just say this: Malami should see himself. I'm an APC member. I support this government, But Malami should see himself as the Attorney General of the country, not a section of the country. His position was totally unfortunate.
Okay, let me just add to that the fact of the matter is that if you are doing open grazing with your cows and you're on another man's property, and that property, as you know, doesn't belong to you, the herder, and you don't have permission of the owner of the land, then that means you're trespassing, and trespassing is against the law. So I just can't understand. I'm just befuddled at what the Attorney General is saying. Anyone just carrying cows onto a private property is trespassing. Trespassing is a crime and is punishable. So there you go. Let's move to Senate, to the Honourable. Honourable, I want to bring this question to you, Honourable ABAYOMI. Restructuring has become the permanent lexion in Nigeria that just won't go away. The 36 governors are scheduled to meet the presidency to discuss this and other issues. Should restructuring start with them, the governors, with the implementation of PMB's President Muhammad Buhari's Executive Order 10? Has your governor, YAHAYA BELLO, His Excellency YAHAYA BELLO, carried out and executed Executive Order 10? Did you hear that?
Hello?
Honourable, yes, we can hear you. Go ahead. Honourable, can you hear us?
Yeah,
can you hear us?
Honourable.
Is Honourable there? Honourable, take off your mute. You must be on mute. Okay, let me take the next question to Mr. Ayola, and then we'll come back to the Honourable. Maybe he'll answer that question. Mr. Ayola, are you there? Mr. Ayola?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Now, I want to bring this question to you because you mentioned previously we talked about El Rufai. With the attacks on the NLC demonstration by armed thugs in Kaduna, it's no wonder that kidnapping, banditry, and criminality reigns supreme in Kaduna. Can El Rufai absolve himself of complicity in this action, which is clearly a breach of power that ought to be subject to investigation? Is El Rufai's call for the arrest of the NLC president or for economic sabotage tenable under our constitution? You say that El Rufai will be a good candidate. Look in the light of this, it doesn't sound like he's the right candidate for Nigeria. Sounds very dictatorial.
I think in terms of that, and again, of course, I would not condone in any manner, shape or form the attacks on representatives of the NLC or in fact on anyone else for that matter. We know that jungle justice and that extrajudicial punishments and killings and so on could be a bit rife in our country, but I would not condone that under any circumstance. Again, of course, one cannot say quite categorically that it's the governor who's behind that. I'm just obviously saying that in terms of no firm evidence. But what I would say, though, in terms of the way I see what's currently going on in Kaduna State, I've always believed, and I hold on to that, in that almost, in fact, all the 36 states do carry a bloated workforce. And what El Rufai is doing in terms of trying to trim the workforce is something which a lot of governors shy away from. You know, they'll rather hold on to populist ideas and populism rather than focusing on issues that really needs to be redressed. And the bloated civil service is actually one of the greatest drain on states in the country. In terms of security, I've always been, and I'm a staunch advocate for state police in Nigeria. When we talk about restructuring, a lot of people use that word. They just bandy it about, and you ask them what's restructuring, and the response is, "Oh, you mean you don't know what restructuring is?" No. What does it mean for you? I think it was OTUNBA ADEGBULUGBE who said that restructuring means different things to different people, and that's a fact. But for me, restructuring is quite clear. State police as well, because the powerless nature and state or insecurity in our country is brought about by the fact that the Nigerian police and the Nigerian security service is actually totally overstretched. And that's why you have a lot of people, bandits, rampant cattle herders, kidnappers, armed robbers, 419ers, going about doing their business because we just don't have enough in our security infrastructure to deal with it.
Okay, thank you.
If I has that chance, let's say, as the governor of Ondo State or your state, Ogun State, Osun State, Enugu State, if they actually are able to be the real chief security officer of their various states, I think security will improve a great in Nigeria. And that's something that's so to be stand for.
Thank you very much, OTUNBA. So you're still standing by Orify. That's great. Let me bring in...
it's not going to be there in 2023.
Let me bring Yusuf back into the mix. You talked about restructuring and other avenues. In the light of the shortfall of FARC allocation, they said there's no more money anymore. The FX shortfall, which is mainly due to subsidies on fuel imports. The Nigerian Governors Forum, who's supposed to be there for the people, has agreed that fuel pump price should increase to 385 naira per litre. It's currently 155 to 158 naira per litre. So Nigerians should brace yourselves as governors agree for this price. Are they looking out for themselves instead of the people? Hello? Yusuf,
yeah, I'm online. I'm here.
So are these governors really thinking about the people, or are they just thinking about themselves?
Obviously, they aren't thinking about the people. They are thinking about what's coming to their states, because even from the digits they are talking about how much the government will save and how much goes back to the federation account. And once that money goes to the federation account, it means that there is more FARC sharing, FARC monthly sharing for them. They are not concerned about us. Neither are they concerned about a whole lot of people, that the electorates, the masses. When you increase this fuel pump price, it will surprise you a lot of people that have been able to survive on 500 naira a day, and by the time you make this pump price to go as high as almost 500 naira, then a lot of these people will not be able to survive on that 500 naira a day. Like, seriously speaking, in the north, you can spend 100 naira for breakfast, 150 for lunch. It will surprise you, and then as a single person, another 100 naira or 150 in the evening for dinner, and you go back and sleep. If you are doing like some of these menial jobs, 500 naira is good enough for you. But once this price of fuel goes as high as above 400 naira, then every other thing, there is ripple effect. It will affect everything.
Subsidies are not sustainable. Honorable Abayomi, are you back? Are you there? You know it's not sustainable. At some point, it has to be cut. Honorable, yes. Are you back? We're almost coming to the end. I wanted to get you back on that question about the restructuring and the 36 governors. Honorable, are you there? He's not there. I can't. Honorable, can you hear us? Okay, I'm going to give the last question to Mazi. Mazi, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Right. It appears the southeast and the south-south are on the verge of a total collapse in security, going by the rate of alleged IPOB and ECN ransacking and destruction of INEC offices and police stations, as well as the all-out assault and attacks and murder of police officers, with destruction of their vehicles and taking out their arms and ammunition. How is this going to be addressed? I know you spoke to the fact that Nigerians, as it were, are not speaking about one Nigeria. They're all talking about separatism, but now they're destroying their own neighborhoods. They're destroying their own people who are there to secure them. What's the way forward there?
I would speak more on the southeast. That's my constituency. What is happening in the southeast is on Igbo. What is happening in the southeast is on us. Now, it is, and you know, I've had this conversation and argument on a BBC before. You know, it is very, very precarious for us to pin this, what is happening in the southeast, to a particular group without any empirical data. I have spoken to people who say this is done by Group A. I'll give us an example. We have the Imo State government, after the prison break, come out, is part of the APC, say this is not done by APOB or is not done by ESN. We have police within hours of the incident saying it was done by ESN. Now we have the Ebony State governor, who also is the chairman of the Governors Forum, come online, say most of these killings are not done by APOB. So here we are, you and I, we do not read security reports. However, men who read security report every single day, are singing from different hymn books. For Christ's sake, when are we going to have sanity? You know, no one should push us to a point of me to say this is being done by A or it's being done by B, because I don't know. I'm not a soothsayer.
Unknown gunmen, but it's done by someone. But they all say that we all know who it is.
No. What we've been hearing is this is being done by unknown gunmen. So who are those behind unknown gunmen? Unmask them. The Southeast, until about 2 months ago, was the most peaceful section of this country. Now, there are people telling me even today that there is a fifth columnist working in the Southeast in order to bring Southeast to where Northeast was, or Northeast is.
Are you aware of the commander that supposedly did the Owerri attacks was killed recently? Okay, you remember? You heard about that? And he was being mourned by Nnamdi Kanu here in the UK. Are you aware of that?
Well, it's he has the right to say whatever he wants to say. But no. You see, let's not deviate here. What we're talking about is that insecurity. Now, the nitty-gritties of how, if the person they killed was part of them, or that if he was how do I put it? If he was part of the people that attacked that, then let investigation reveal these things. It's just like, remember when Yusuf was killed in 2009, I remember I had an argument with someone. I say, you caught a man, Yusuf, in 2009. That extrajudicial killing that happened with Yusuf led to full-blown thing that we still suffer to today. Had it been that when they caught, that Yusuf was caught in 2009, that he was tried appropriately, everyone will see that he is the one behind this, and please throw him in the prisons and throw away the keys. This is what, and this is how we must begin to operate as a people.
I agree with you, but remember that Nnamdi Kanu was on a trial and he managed to escape from trial and is now in the UK.
Let's not again.
That's a fact. That is a fact.
No. I cannot. Sorry, I wouldn't. Sorry, I would not allow. No. It's a fact, but I will not allow you to just say that in passing. Yes, he was facing trial. Yes, if anything happened.
I only mentioned it because you mentioned Yusuf's trial. That's the only reason why. Otherwise, I wouldn't have mentioned it. So let me not delve into that. That's the only reason why I mentioned it. Let me give Ms. OTUNBA Ayola the last laugh here. Look, are you from Ogun State, Mr. Ayola, OTUNBA?
I'm from Osun State, Ilesha.
Oh, you're Osun. Okay, well, I was thinking that because you mentioned Ogun State a few times and that all the presidents have been from Ogun State. But this is an Ogun State issue. I'm from Ogun State. We've had the arrest of the SSA to Governor Dakwa Bunu in JFK Airport for alleged 350,000 benefits and identity fraud. This is yet another swipe on Nigeria's image, and had he remained in Nigeria, he would have remained free to parade himself without prosecution or extradition. We saw the case of late Senator Kashamu, who was shielded from extradition by our corrupt judiciary. How can we get the extradition of the likes of Dezani? I won't mention Kano because Mazi said I should mention him, but you've got Dezani there. But you know what I mean. These people are out there. We can't, deliver extradition to the West, but we want them to extradite people to us. Look at this case. This is a disgrace, is it not?
It is an absolute disgrace. And I think it's actually quite symptomatic of the kind of malaise that we have in our society, where people come out of nowhere with a bag full of money and they buy themselves on their way into political status. You mentioned Kashamu, that's similar. Again, in this particular instance, we've seen some videos of this guy flashing money all over the place. They traduce the image of the country outside, and then if they get away with it, they come back home and we welcome them with open hands as long as they're able to flash the cash. And that's something which I think it's showing the the decadence in society. It's not just in Nigeria, I must say, because all around the world, the kind of perhaps moral upstanding, the moral values and virtues that we used to hold dear, that's actually sort of gone down the drain in a manner, so to say, and it's all over the place. But much more so in Nigeria, perhaps maybe where people are due to impoverishment, due to greed, for example.
Yeah,
and this is most likely greed.
We got scammers here in the UK. I mean, there was a recent scam that people have been doing here about they're telling you that you're getting a post, and because you missed the post, you need to contact them, and then they get your card details, and they rinse your card out. That's been done by white people, not necessarily white people, but English people, in the UK. Fraud is a worldwide phenomenon. It's not just exclusive to Nigeria. Okay, I want to thank all my guests.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, OTUNBA. Sorry, but I want to thank all my guests for coming on the show. I'm sorry that we were late today. It was a great show, and we thank the Honourable for spending so much time. He couldn't stay to the end because, of course, we started late. So thank you for joining us on tonight's show. Enough is enough. Please make sure, Soro Soke, don't be shy, don't be silent. If you see something, say something. If you can't take it no more, do something about it. Naija go better. We want a better Naija. A big shout out to our sponsors, Sweetheart Fruits, which truly are delicious. Their number is 07944278523. A healthy treat to grace any occasion. Talking about health, a big shout out to Share My Haven and their Haven Hair and Beauty Spa for massage, therapy, and skincare. Their telephone number is 0208 671-7102. You can also check out Masasi B Passions, Yabo on 07985 340188. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact the numbers on your screen. I'm your host, Mr. Femi Oke, founder of Beta9ja, signing out. See you same time next week when we will debate another hot topic. Over and out.